The male reproductive system of the frog. Frog male reproductive system. Same diagram, but because that they are interrelated issues. These are excretory system and reproductive system. It consists of a pair of yellowish and ovoid testes. A pair of yellowish ovoid testes is present here. Where it is, which are attached to the kidney. That's all. That's why it is associated. Both are associated each other. At the dorsal body wall by a double fold of peritoneum called mesoarchium. Can you able to see the testis in the diagram? That this is the testis. Mesoarchium connected to the dorsal wall of kidney by mesoarchium. It is connected there. Okay, each testis is composed of innumerable seminiferous tubules which are connected to form 10 to 12 narrow tubules called as vasa efferentia. That means inside there are so many seminiferous tubules. Okay, in the testis there are so many seminiferous tubules. What they are doing? They are going to form connected to 10 to 12 narrow tubules called as vasa efferentia. Okay, so narrow tubules called as vasa efferentia. Where they enter? They enter into the kidney. They enter into the kidney. Okay, so like this, they get who entered in the kidney? That vasa efferentia enters into the kidney. They enter the kidney, opens into the Bidder's canal. I'll show you the Bidder's canal. Which color will take? Will take blue. They opens into the Bidder's canal. Okay, so what happens in the Bidder's canal, which is connected to the ureter through transverse canals of the kidney. Okay, which is connected to the ureter through the transverse canals of the kidney. So this is a very important thing here. Okay, so they enter the kidney and opens into the Bidder's canal. Bidder's canal, who is Bidder's canal? That canal which is connected to the ureter through what? Through transverse canals of the kidney. Through the transverse canals of the kidney, they are connected to the ureter. Okay, so that's it. So now who is coming out? Ureter is coming out. Okay, so the urinogenital ducts of the both sides opens into the cloaca. So why the ureter is called urinogenital duct? You see, seminiferous tubules produced sperms through the vasa efferentia, through the Bidder's canal, they enter into the ureter. So ureter, as long as urine it is transferring, and also that particular sperms are also going. So that's why we can say that as urinogenital canal. So that only thing here, a little the hypothetical visualization required over. So testis and kidney. So who is there in the kidney? In the kidney there is a Bidder's canal. So whom it is connected with the transverse canals? It is connected. That the original illustration I am not going here. Internal anatomy, a rough diagram I am showing here. So which is going into the urinary bladder. Who is going to open into the cloaca? That we are seeing earlier. Okay. So what next? Here the seminiferous tubules which are present inside the inside what testis. Wait, when seminiferous tubule. What they do? They produce sperms. Where they connect? Vasa efferentia. All these vasa efferentia are connected to Bidder's canal. This much gap is not there as we have seen in the diagram. Okay, so this is kidney and this is testis. For your visualization, I am showing this particular. That's all. Okay, so this is testis, this is kidney, and sperms are transported into the Bidder's canal. From there into the ureter, and ureter to the finally, it goes to the cloaca, urinogenital duct, urinary bladder, and cloaca. Let's talk about the female reproductive system. Here also, they're closely associated. You see here, ovary and kidney. Connection of the testis with the kidney is said mesoarchium, isn't it? Here also the same. Meso-ovarium, we can say the connection. A pair of ovaries are present, oviducts are present. Cloaca is present as usual. Cloaca is a regular one we are observing from the beginning, a common opening for anus, that genital and excretory area. The ovaries are attached to the kidneys and dorsal body wall by A double fold of peritoneum we call mesoovarium. A double fold of peritoneum, which is said to be mesoovarium. The ovaries have no functional connection with the kidneys. The ovaries have very important line. The ovaries have no functional connection with the kidneys. Only structural connection is there. Then who is having functional connection? Then who is having functional connection? Functional connection is there with male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is having functional connection. Okay. So let's talk about the oviducts. Oviducts which are too long and the oviducts are too long, wide, convoluted tubules. Their anterior ends form a funnel-like opening called ostia. See my aroma. These are the ostia. The posterior ends of the oviducts enlarge into ovisacs before they open. Here, this area, pink color. That I see my aroma. This area. Ovisacs before they open into the cloaca separately. Before they open into the cloaca separately. Not bigger issues we have. Simple. They want to explain you about that how it is both are different. That means a pair of ovaries are present. They release the ovum. They are collected by oviducal funnels. We call them as their opening as ostia. And they open. Where they open, they don't have any connection, functional connection with directly opens into the cloaca. Now here, let me show you hypothetical diagrams I am drawing here for your understanding. These are the kidneys. Actually, both are connected each other. I just separated for our understanding. So they send ureters. So where the ureters goes, ureter go to urinary bladder. Urinary bladder opens into cloaca. This is cloaca. Okay, so what I want to see here that both are separated. What urinary bladder release? Urine. What oviducts release? Ovum. Separately. If you observe in case of male reproductive system, I'll draw here only the male reproductive system. What we said, testes through vasa efferentia connected to the Bidder's canal. The ureters which are coming here, that carries, which opens into the urinary bladder, that opens into the cloaca. They carry sperms and urine like this. So here oviduct is separated. That is the only point you have to remember. And connection, both are connected. Ovaries are connected to the kidney and testes are also connected. But ovaries don't have any, the ovaries are not having any functional connection. The ovaries have no functional connection with the kidney. That is a very important point to be remembered here. The oviducts are too long, wide, convoluted tubule where oviducts opens into the cloaca. Before they open into the cloaca, they get enlarged. That what you say, ovi sacs. They are used to start that store the particular ovum before they release into the water. The posterior ends of oviducts enlarge into ovisacs before they open into the cloaca separately. Produced ovum it will come and settle down here during the time of reproduction. Just remember, just for general knowledge, not mentioned. So these are going to store here. The mass of eggs and the mass of sperms released by the female and the male are called span and milk. Do remember this. This is the regular question coming from the whole frac. Always. In most competitive examination, for number of times, what they ask this one. The mass are eggs and the mass of sperms. Mass of eggs and mass of sperms released by the female and male are called female are called span, male are called milk, span and milk. Okay, the mass of eggs, the mass of sperms, and the mass of eggs released by the female and male are called that span and milk. Okay, so that to be remembered. The fertilization, excuse me. is external and it takes place in water. The fertilization is external and it's going to be takes place in water. Development involves an aquatic gill-breathing herbivorous larval stage called tadpole. So before that, I'll give a conclusion here that we said the male and female. So for a male reproductive system and female, before we continue the male reproductive system, testes produce sperms. Okay, testes produced sperms. Where they are going? The testes produced sperms from the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so let me write from there. Seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubule, whatever the sperms which are produced here will go to vasa efferentia. Will go to the vasa efferentia. From the vasa efferentia, they enters into the Bidder's canal of the kidney, and from there, along with the ureter or urinogenital duct, where it is called urinogenital duct because it carry both sperms and ovum. It enters into the cloaca, urinary bladder, then cloaca. Okay, so where it comes into the cloaca. This is the story. Okay, from the cloaca, where they get released? They get released into the water. From the cloaca, they get released into the water. Okay, next, in case of female reproductive system, ovary. Okay, so where the what they do? They produce ovum. Where they release? They release that into the coelomic cavity. Okay, coelomic cavity. Who collect? Oviduct with the help of opening called ostia. Then that oviduct through the opening ostia, that oviduct they enter. Oviduct in bracket I am showing here. They get come and store into the bulging before they open into the cloaca. We said about ovisac. So there where they open cloaca. Okay. When they are in the stored in the ovisac, the when the particular during the reproductive system, so directly cloaca, we are not talking about urinary gland. Okay. From the cloaca, they will be released into the water. Okay. So the thing you have to remember, during rainy season, the male frog, the attracts the female frog, attracts the male frog. Sorry. Male frog attracts the female frog by giving croaking sound. So when the female frog comes, these particular ovum which are going to be stored in the ovisac, that I think in the starting I said our amplexary parts are present in the male frog. So that amplexary parts which are present in the male frog are going to press the abdomen of the female frog. So male release the sperms into the water, and by pressing that particular abdomen of the female from this ovisac where the ovum are stored enters in the cloaca, then they reaches into the water. That this is I want to give the conclusion in both cases. That in both cases, this is the thing you need to remember. Okay, so this is the thing you have to remember. The development involves an aquatic gill breathe. Okay, then okay, what happens? Sperms are released in the water by pressing the abdomen of the female. That ovum are also released in the water. We call them as Milton span. Then the fertilization occurs in the water and zygote is formed, which leads to a larval form. We call tadpole larva. Tadpole larva breathing with the gills, and it's a herbivorous. It acts like fish. It resembles the fish actually in their general characters. Okay, so that the tadpole larva we use it to say. Okay, next. The tadpole larva should become adult frog in the metamorphosis. We use it to say. So where what is become aquatic gill-breathing tadpole should become air-breathing frog. Herbivorous tadpole should become carnivorous adult. Child is herbivorous, adult is carnivorous, non-vegetarian. Tadpole frog resembles a fish pertaining to the living water and respiring through gills. So finally, tadpole larva will metamorphosize into the adult that require thyroxine hormone. For that kind of metamorphosis that requires thyroxine hormone, that to be remembered. And economic importance wise, frogs are beneficial to the mankind. They are insectivorous and help in reducing the insect population. In some countries, such as China and Japan. The muscular thighs of the frog are used for human consumption. Not we don't eat, but our favorite heroes of the world now, Chinese, are eating this particular one. We can't say like that they eat only frog. They eat zoology. They completely eat zoology. They eat all kind of animal. This kind of frustration is there for every world citizen on Chinese people. In some countries such as China and Japan, the muscular thighs of the frog are used for human consumption. Maybe Japan people will stop eating only frogs. But all reptilia class and amphibian class are eaten by these Chinese people. So they eat and they shut down the total world by eating them. Okay. Vasa efferentia of the frog are found in testes, kidney, spinal cord, between the testis and kidney. Yes, answer. Vasa efferentia of the frog are found in testes, kidney, spinal cord, between the testis and kidney.
Between testis and kidney.
Testis and kidney.
Very good. Sperm.
Mass of
Mass of ova.
Ova.
Mass of ovum. Fertilization in frog is
External.
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 water. In the water it occurs, that's why we say external. So that's it about the frog. That from the beginning, frog digestive, respiratory, circulatory, excretory, nervous system, and reproductive system. Just in a brief, we learned all the tissues. This is the end of the frog, we can say.